Well, here's the question today. Do people like the sound of Saquon Barkley on the Eagles?
Oh, yes, Joe.
Now, it's obviously
a lot.
It's not
music.
Well, it's not just the player, it's the player at the money, because obviously it's exciting to get Saquon Barkley. The question, John, is whether it is prudent to get Saquon Barkley at that cost.
Prudent to get
at that cost.
One of the premier football players in the world. At that cost.
Talk to me, John.
Yes.
And I want to hear from everyone. I mean, this is obviously a big deal. It's shocking for me because, now until a couple days ago, I can't say I'm completely shocked from the last 2 or 3 days because we'd heard a lot of whispers about this, which, by the way, goes to show you tampering is everywhere. Okay, it's just everywhere. But whatever. John, sounds like your thumbs up. Sounds like your 3 thumbs up. Talk to me.
Yeah. If you're from around here, whether you were a Penn State fan or not, you have an awareness of what this guy can do and what he represents. Saquon Barkley, everyone was a Saquon fan. Saquon just conducts himself in a way that everyone's a Saquon fan, and man, this guy's good at football. I'm really glad for DeAndre Swift that he's getting a great spot in Chicago, and that's good for him. It was sad to know that he got a chance to come home and then, is no longer home.
Yeah, that's right.
I know that there's some question about the order of things and the way it happened. I am positive that Saquon set the market, and it's because he's just the most complete back out there. And it's incredible that we got a chance to bring a guy like this in. It's incredible to me that the Giants failed so hard with both that safety, McKinney, and Saquon Barkley. Both guys, they had a chance to franchise. They chose to franchise neither. They lost both. That's an incredible failure on their part. But, good for us, bad for them. And Saquon was the whopper of yesterday. We landed the whopper. Saquon is going to be incredible for our offense. Remember, this guy was the second pick of the draft in 2018. Second pick of the first round.
Yeah, but it was also a bad pick.
No,
yes, it was.
It was very clearly a bad pick. There is no arguing that it's not a bad pick.
So we pick him up with him.
It's good to sign him.
Second time.
Okay,
we pick him up on the way around. So this is good. It doesn't matter how you found your way to Saquon. You didn't end up drafting him. It was Baker Mayfield was first that year. Yeah. My gosh, Baker Mayfield, who just got a $100 million contract himself. Now we got the guy right behind that. The guy who was drafted 5 spots before Josh Allen. Again, just incredible talent in this hemisphere in 2018. I'm telling you, Saquon can do amazing things for the offense as a whole, just like a Christian McCaffrey. He's not Christian McCaffrey, but he's close. I mean, they're both right up there. They're both in that elite tier. And yes, they've had some injuries sprinkled in through the past that slowed the progress down, but he can do Christian McCaffrey things. Our offense should be built around Christian McCaffrey, and he'll give us 20 touches, a touchdown, 125-plus yards every game. You got receptions, 5 catches with consistency. You're going to see more of the screen game. You're going to see stuff downfield. The option game, the quick option game that really a defense, if you're running the way you should, there's no way they can stop it. They can't be right. Saquon makes Jalen Hurts better instantly as a runner and vice versa. And then as a passer, he makes Jalen better because he's a great receiver of the football. He's a constant threat in that regard.
No question.
He's also a great protector, a pass protector. He understands who to pick up and how to pick them up, and he can shock you. Put his helmet right up under your chin. Protect his quarterback. Give Jalen more time. Give Jalen the trust that he doesn't have to break the pocket every time he drops back, that he can step up and find a receiver downfield. We saw that playing for your hometown team, it really can make a difference. in DeAndre Swift. It's a modern day success story of him coming home last year.
No question.
Makes the Pro Bowl last year, goes over 1,000 yards. These are firsts for him, and he deserves all the accolades. He deserves the $8 million a year in that contract that he just got from Chicago. But we got a better back in Saquon Barkley here in town, and it's close. I mean, he set the market. We're not overpaying to the degree where once upon a time you had to overpay in this league.
Well, look, I'll say this, and of course I want to hear from you today at 215-592-9494. I mean, this is a big old deal, man. This is a big deal for Saquon Barkley to be an Eagle. We want to hear from you where you stand on it. I will tell you this. I'm extremely torn. I mean, I'm just being honest. I'm extremely torn, and I got a lot of conflict. I mean, on one hand, it is obviously incredibly exciting to get a player of Saquon Barkley's caliber when healthy, and I think he still has it in him. Like, he's obviously been banged up by injuries. I don't think he's as spry as he was in the beginning of his career. I think that's pretty obvious. But, I mean, you're talking about one of the more explosive players in the NFL. You're talking about a player at a position the Eagles really have not had true explosiveness since LaShawn McCoy. That's a decade ago. I mean, running back's a really fun position to have a really fun player at. I mean, it's fun. It's fun. And
remember what it was like to have Shady, the every down guy, the back, the workhorse.
I also know, and this isn't a knock on Shady McCoy with LaShawn. They didn't win anything.
Okay.
So, those other positions
that the Eagles does not correlate in any way to whether Saquon can win things or whether this team can win things.
I think it does. I mean, but this is the rub you got to figure out as a fan, and this is the thing all general managers got to figure out. The importance of a running back. I mean, I know this. I've gotten accustomed over the last decade.
This is absurd.
No, it's not
absurd.
The
importance of a running back?
I've seen. Hold on. I've seen for a decade now the Eagles have tremendous success with cheap running backs. And when they had an expensive running back, they didn't go anywhere. Now, again, all this in the salary cap world, what positions do you value? Like, Brian Burns, the Giants get him yesterday for a 2 and a 5. In New York, there's a lot of lament this morning. We know that. They love Saquon. I get it. I mean, he's a lovable guy. He's a great player, and he's a great dude, and we're going to love having him here. But if you want to talk about the big deal yesterday, the big deal was the Giants getting Brian Burns. I'm not trying to rain on parades. I'm just saying, like, they're paying him to play defense a lot more than the Giants or Eagles were willing to pay Saquon Barkley to play offense. So I'm conflicted. On one hand, I'm obviously very excited.
We also got a guy coming off the edge.
I know. I understand that.
Huff.
Yeah.
Like Burns, who can crush quarterbacks. We did Saquon and Brian Burns. Howie, when I say we,
I understand.
Howie did an amazing job yesterday, and in addition to signing Landon Dickerson to another deal that in a few months will look like he was, prescient and forward thinking, because you're going to have other lesser guards being paid more than Landon Dickerson, who mauls people. So continues to be smart.
Then Bryce Harper's going to go to him and say, "Hey, man, you got to get more money. You're underpaid now."
Maybe. Look, but this is an incredible job. You got the pass rusher that you're, cheering about for someone else. Like, Brian Burns is great. Brian Burns, I wish we could have gotten someone like Brian Burns. Oh, yeah, we did. We got a guy who's 26 and he's raw and not been used very often in this league. But when he has, he explodes on quarterbacks. And now, I hope, it sounds like he's wanting to prove how improved he can be against the run. That is an issue. Like, we are getting these pass rushers, but there's always like a rub. With Hassan Reddick.
Yeah, that's right.
The rub was he's been really good. He's been inconsistent. It's hard to know exactly how to use him at times. And of course, they did a great job of using him, and he was an All-Pro, and it was wonderful. But it's sort of the same situation here.
Well, Reddick's still an Eagle. Sweat's still an Eagle for now. Whether that stays the case at the end of today or in the next month or so, we'll find out. Look, here's the deal. Saquon better be dominant. He better be dominant. Because for all the talk of McCaffrey in San Francisco, there's two things that apply there. There's two things that apply there that we don't yet know will apply here. Number one, McCaffrey, who is dominant, has been dominant and has been healthy. So, that
And Saquon,
we'll see.
Last year did a nice job.
I'm not talking about last year. I'm saying
healthier,
Saquon better be
staying healthier.
I'm talking about the future. But yes, it was good to see that he had that.
I expect a better Saquon than what you even saw in New York. I'm telling you, the DeAndre Swift thing, the player who gets a chance to come home, the fire that lights under your butt. I can't wait to see how great Saquon can be playing here.
Here's the other thing with the McCaffrey comparison. Purdy, rookie contract. Hurts, not a rookie contract. So, I know a lot of people today are going to say
we got a discounted back
I don't think they got a discount.
Contract. Yes, we did.
It's the second biggest contract for running back in football.
Come on. There was a glut of big backs on the market like we've never seen before. We got a great deal on the back that set the market.
Well, I'll ask this question both rhetorically and I guess not. Can something be both exciting and somewhat concerning at the same time? I say yes. I say this is an example of it. Look, I'll tell you this, guys.
It is exciting above exciting.
I lean more toward the excitement side because it's fun to get a guy like this. But we also know it does run counter to how the Eagles have had a lot of success in recent years. Where you stand on this?
It's going to help both sides of the ball.
We'll see. 215-592-9494. Where do you stand on the Eagles getting Saquon Barkley, grabbing him from New York, grabbing him from the Giants, the whole deal? We'll get into that throughout the show. We'll do a lot more, obviously, on Huff, Bryce Huff now an Eagle. Also, your chance to win Phillies tickets today. We'll tell you about that coming up next. Your phone calls. Joe Cameron, John Ranchi, just off and rolling. Big day, and it's also day 2 of free agency. It rolls on right here on 94 WIP.